The Vancouver Canucks are at the top of the league, but Rick Tocchet warns players. I'll get into that later on this episode, but before I start, I just wanted to say to everyone watching this that's not subscribed, make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button. We'll be here all season long, giving you updates from all around the Canucks, from prospect, game recaps, trades, and rumors. But with that, let's hop straight into the first topic today, which is the Canucks are at the top of the NHL. Now, when you do look at the Canucks coming into the All-Star break, they are the top team in the NHL standings, and there's a ton of hype. The Canucks top the ESPN Power Rankings. They're number 2 on the NHL.com Power Rankings. Analytic websites like MoneyPuck have them the favorite to win the Stanley Cup. And in the wake of acquiring a guy like Elias Pettersson, the Canucks are being talked about more and more as a legitimate Stanley Cup contender. Now, this is awesome news. As I said, the Canucks are the top of the league, favorites to win the Stanley Cup on websites like MoneyPuck. They acquired a guy like Elias Lindholm, and they're going all in this year. Now, like I said, you can see the Canucks at the very top there, being the number 1 team. Yes, they are tied points-wise with the Boston Bruins, both having 71 points. But the biggest thing here with the Canucks, they have 33 wins compared to the Bruins' 31. You see that Colorado, 3 points behind, have one more game played than the Canucks. And you can just see here from all these teams how good the Canucks are really playing. Right now, the Canucks are 8-0-2 in their last 10, with a 59 goal differential on the season, which is by far the highest in the league. You see the Bruins are just behind them with 45, Colorado 36, Florida Panthers 31, and just right now, the Canucks are looking like an absolute wagon, which does lead into, Tocchet just warning players, and he speaks out on the team. Now, in Carolina on Monday when he was talking to the media, he said, "We're getting a lot of publicity, which is great to a point. I think we got to make sure that we don't buy into the hype, that we know in this room who we are, how we play, and we want to be a disciplined team." So that's the really message for the second half. Now, this just does lead into the Canucks, as I said, are the top team. Management is rewarding this team. They acquired a guy like Elias Lindholm, and it doesn't seem like they're fully done. They're still making calls on guys like Chris Tanev. This team knows where they are, what they have to do, and they want to win. Now, you just see that one of the keys to the Canucks' success this season has been a refusal to be satisfied. So Tocchet's message not to buy into this hype seems to be finding fertile ground with their players. We're happy with where we're at. I mean, this is everything we worked on this summer. This was JT Miller saying earlier in January. But at the same time, we haven't achieved anything yet. And I absolutely love this quote. Yes, they're being the top team. They know the hype around this team. You can tell how good this team is gelling. But just JT Miller coming out, being a leader, and saying at the same time, we haven't achieved anything yet. And this is just talking about the Stanley Cup playoffs. You could be one of the best teams in the league. It happens to the Toronto Maple Leafs. You see them absolutely dominate in the regular season. Come playoff time, they can kind of fade away and not look like they are. And this team knows that they need to continue this hot streak, continue their play from now into the playoffs, into the Stanley Cup finals to finally hoist the cup. Now, when you do look at more of this, if we're not careful or we don't respect the work that we put in and realize that we have to continue doing, we're going to lose what we've accomplished in a hurry. This was Thatcher Demko coming out of the Christmas break, and he's surely saying similar things this month. Now, it's like I've said, all these players are really speaking out. They're making it known that Rick Tocchet isn't going to take a team's second half slump. They know what it's going to take. You can see from his statement here, saying they know where they are, they can't buy into this hype, and they want to be a disciplined team. You see JT Miller saying the same. At the same time, we haven't achieved anything yet. And the same thing, as I said, with Demko. He's saying they know where they are, and they don't want to lose what they've accomplished in a hurry. This team wants to win the Stanley Cup. They know where they want to be, and they have a huge chance at really making this push. Now, when you do look at this, I'm talking about everything. So Tocchet, on the ice, off the ice, the way we think, our system, being unselfish, going on the ice early, working on your game, eating properly, that's the discipline. If you want to go far in the playoffs, if you want to make it to the playoffs, if you want to win, you have to go through these things. And the teams that win are most disciplined. And like I said, this just leads back to the statements of him saying this team has to be disciplined, JT Miller saying this team. The whole team is on the same page, and acquiring a guy like Lindholm just shows that management is as well. They want a disciplined team that can play hard. They want lines 1 through 4 to be able to make an impact, and I think the Canucks have really shown that they can, and have really shown that with this team here, just bringing up the forwards as they've recently acquired Lindholm, but just showing that this team here is totally bought in, and they really do think they can win the cup. Now, with Rick Tocchet speaking out, sorry about that, he was saying that they want to be disciplined. And with the way the Canucks are playing, like I said, number 1 in the league. They have a couple of games coming up against the Canes, the Bruins, the Red Wings, the Capitals, and the Blackhawks. And I think this is going to be a lot of statement game. When you look at this right here, the Canes are 9th in the league, 28, 15, and 5. You see the Bruins that are just behind the Canucks, which would be the next game they play. You see the Red Wings that are ranked 13, and they have 2 of a little bit easier matchups in the Capitals and the Blackhawks, which are both bottom 11 teams, with the Blackhawks being the worst team standing-wise in the NHL. So I think this is really going to show where the Canucks stand if they're fully bought in, if they come out and they can beat some of these teams like the Bruins, the Canes, the Red Wings, the 2 easier matchups where they don't really kind of play down to their opponents. I think this is going to be a huge turning point for the Canucks. We get to see what Elias Lindholm brings to this lineup, and I truly think this is the year the Canucks make a deep run. But what's your guys' thoughts on this? Do you think that Tocchet's talking out of his butt, saying things like this, or do you think this team is fully bought in, disciplined, and they want to win it? And what's your thoughts on the next 5 games? Do you think the Canucks can go 5-0 to extend their streak, or do you think they might start a little rocky with a new face in the lineup? But that'll be this episode of Canucks Digest. Make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button. As I said, we'll be here all season long, giving you updates from all around the Canucks. But with that, take care.